What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Shlokउव. In this series, casual conversations on spiritual philosophy. Of course, we are back with none other than Mandar Nirgudkar.
Namaskar, this is Mandar Nirgudkar, and I'm very excited to begin another episode with Shlokउव.
Of course, and today's today's podcast is going to be slightly special, slightly controversial, because of how enlightening it is.
Yes, absolutely. The reason why I selected this topic was because both of the historical figures we're talking about have reached their peak of enlightenment in their lifetime. They both were extremely relevant and maybe the need of that century at that time. But when we look at them, their life in retrospective mode, it is but obvious for people on the spiritual journey to have a comparison. Right, wrong, forget it. But we are here to just maybe learn and evolve. So the two figures I'm talking about is Lord Krishna and Gautam Buddha.
Of course.
So I understand they're both reincarnations of Lord Vishnu. Now I don't know where to begin with, but Lord Gautama was born as a prince. Siddharth.
Right.
Okay. And the reading which I have done on him states that he was a prince, very well endowed. And I think he saw one kind of a suffering somewhere when he was out.
He saw an old man who was about to die or dying or something, on the verge of death.
And the lesson he took from that was that life is totally suffering, and the life he was living was a lie, basically, as a prince, because he was confined within the walls of his kingdom. And then that is when he decided to embark on a spiritual journey into the woods, in the jungle.
Right, of course.
Okay, in short, you can elaborate on this further. And then Lord Krishna, as we all know, he was also born as a prince?
Well, technically, he was both.
Okay.
He was also in the royal family, but then he was raised as a cowherd in his childhood. The thing that I would like to correct is that Gautam Buddha was not an incarnation of Lord Vishnu.
Okay.
The Buddha that we speak in the Purans, who is an incarnation of Lord Vishnu, is another Buddha. Buddha is just enlightened. Any enlightened person, if you get enlightened using the path of solitude, then you are a Buddha as well.
So Bodhisattva.
Yeah, a Bodhisattva. Yeah. But what we are talking about in the Purans is a totally different kind of Buddha, who is actually Narayan Rupi Buddha, who reveals the sadhana paddhati of Ma Tara, the second Mahavidya. Now let's not get into that because it's a very esoteric. It's another episode, very esoteric, very secret knowledge.
Yes.
But the thing is that he is not the same.
Right.
Secondly, as I would like to suggest is, Krishna was raised as a cowherd. For up to around 11 years of his life. He lived in Vrindavan.
Right.
Where he had his, sweet leelas, madhurya leelas.
Right.
Where he showed how the human aspect of his sweetness, his lovable aspect of the Lord. That's what he showed.
Right.
Then later on, when he realized his dharma, as I keep saying every time, that every Sri Krishna, like every Sri Krishna in ourselves, we must decide when to drop the flute and when to pick up the Sudarshan Chakra. So once he realized that, he had to leave Vrindavan. He had to leave everything behind and essentially embark on this extensive, intense, transformative journey where he went from becoming Kanha of Vrindavan to becoming Dwarkadhish, to becoming Vasudeva.
Right.
And I feel like this transformation is not just something that you should see in stories, but something that you should take as a metaphorical truth for yourself and embark on this journey as well.
But then don't you find this little ironical? Both of them went for a kind of a transformation.
Right.
But Gautam Buddha kind of gave up on the life he was living.
Right.
He went to he was married. He even had a son, right?
I think
at that time.
His family, basically what happens is, renunciation is an ideal, but not an ideal of the world that we are currently living in.
Okay.
So maybe it might be an ideal back then where you could afford to do these things. But still, for me, what I feel, that since he was a prince, he was a king of the royal blood, it wasn't dharma for him to leave his kingdom,
Right.
to leave his praja,
Right.
and go sit in the forest. Although he did help many people, he cured many people, he helped many people get on the path of enlightenment.
Right.
But then again, the main thing that a praja needs is raja.
Right.
And if you have a raja who is scared of one death and runs away, then kind of passive, I would say.
Okay.
The thing is that both the concept of Buddhism and the concept of Krishnaism, these both philosophies contradict each other because they see suffering as two different things.
Okay.
In Buddhism, in the life of Buddha, suffering and the way to get out of suffering is often seen as an escapement. That if truly we want something, that is why we are suffering, then let's stop this suffering by not wanting everything.
Detachment.
Yeah, detachment. But it is a very higher form of detachment. That's like, my arm is hurting, so I'll kill myself. That is Buddhism in short.
Okay.
But Krishnaism in short, or like the life of Krishna, the philosophy of Krishna, it is very pro-life.
Okay.
Buddhism shuns life in a way. It is passive.
Okay.
Krishna's life is pro-life.
Okay.
It wants life to happen, because what it says is that, I read it somewhere, that life isn't coming at you, it is coming from you.
Okay. Okay.
And every moment matters. What happens nowadays is that we feel that these bad moments once go away, the life will start, good life will start. But it's not bad moments that are going away as well. It is life that is going away.
So we essentially we're living in the present, but we want to live in a future.
Exactly.
That is what creates the misery.
Okay. Exactly. Perfect.
So now I believe that we are not trying to say who is wrong or who is right, or who is better and who is worse. All we're trying to do is identify the differences between their lives, because both of them ultimately followed their dharma and became the peak of their realizations in their respective lifetimes. All we want to do here is find out how can their life be an inspiration for us to evolve on our spiritual journey.
Perfect.
So let's say a person, a human, has two ways to progress in his spiritual journey. One is the Krishna way, one is the Buddha way. So which one to adopt? That's the only point here. We're not trying to...
Right. So in modern life, in a world where everyone is so connected, where everyone is, being connected to each another person is a necessity.
Right.
Not even a privilege. Necessity. You need it.
Yes.
So I think that going out in the woods, trying to truly find yourself, is a very much hard thing to do. I'm not saying that it's bad or that it's wrong in any way.
Okay.
Because ultimately you are going to attain enlightenment one way or another. There are many sannyasis that we know nowadays who are great siddhas, great buddhas, great enlightenment, great enlightened beings.
Right.
The thing is that, have you heard of what a Jivan Mukta is? I feel like I've spoken about this before as well.
No, you can refresh me.
Okay. Suppose I'm swimming in a pool. Okay. And only the top of my head is open.
Okay.
The rest of my body is inside the pool.
Okay.
So, and the sun is scorching hot.
Okay.
At this point, I'm experiencing two things. I'm feeling the scorchingness of the sun on my head.
Right.
As well as I'm feeling the coolness of the water in my body.
Right.
This is the life of a Jivan Mukta.
Okay.
He enjoys his spiritual benefits as well as the material benefits. He's living a double life.
Double life. So, do you mean that these two lives, rather than making a choice, we should let them run parallelly?
Yes, of course.
And then find the middle path.
Yeah. Okay. What I feel is that once we realize that this samsara is an illusion, is maya, then let's not dance in maya, let's dance with maya. That is what Krishna taught us.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, this is a very important point.
He loved, he fought, he led, he played the flute, all showing an example of a perfect man.
Even
Perfect role
he
model.
lied. He gave up
Right,
the
yeah.
battlefield in the
Yes,
middle.
yes.
Then he the I mean, it kind of sometimes I feel really bad for Krishna because you know what, he knew everything
Right.
that could happen. Then he could change the way things were happening. For example, there's a point in the war where he was stopping the sun for a brief moment so that Arjuna could kill the I forgot the warrior's name. The warrior. So he could do his thing, but in spite of all these things, he could not save Abhimanyu. He knew that maybe this, when Arjuna was being led by Krishna himself to another place and Abhimanyu was supposed to enter the Chakravyuh, he knew it. Nobody except for him knew it, but he could not stop it.
Right. Rather than could not stop it, he did not stop it.
He did not stop it.
Because something needs to happen for another thing to happen, right? कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ खोना पड़ता है. That line. The thing is that Krishna on the battlefield urged Arjun to fight the war.
This is very interesting. Yes.
On the battlefield, Krishna could have definitely, if he was like a Buddha mindset, he could have definitely told Arjun, give up the war, come to the forest, I'll teach you enlightenment. But instead, what Krishna said is, even if you die in the war, you'll die like a hero. You will attain Veera Swarga.
Right.
Even if you die in the war, you'll attain the status of a hero. And if you win in the war, you will have your Swarga on earth. So that is what Krishna taught, that no matter what, you cannot give up your situation and run away.
Okay. So do you mean to say Gautam Buddha, the life of Gautam Buddha and life of Krishna, what must be the approximate time frame? Like how many years must have been they have been born apart?
Time frame. So a lot of years for sure. So Buddha was around, not quite sure the
let's put an approximation. I'll tell you why.
So in the Dwapar Yuga, Krishna was around like 5000 BC, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
I would say Buddha was around what, 1000 BC?
So about 4000.
I'm not actually sure.
Let's say a couple of thousand years apart.
Yeah, a couple of thousand years.
So we are not historians, so that's fine. So
sorry,
a couple of thousand years apart, but somehow we feel that Krishna's life is more relevant today than right now. Everyone feels. You ask any of our friends, family, relatives, I'm fighting, I'm struggling.
I read a post the other day on Instagram saying Krishna is the most Gen Z god.
Gen Z god, yes.
Makes total sense.
Yes.
Total sense. Right. But of course, the main question is that Buddha, he definitely had the capacity to attain enlightenment, and he did.
Yes.
He was a prince.
Right.
He had the opportunity to do crazy amount of things.
Would he been able to attain enlightenment just like Krishna?
Right.
In his own setup without going to the woods?
Maybe, of course, because now the fact that he thought, after seeing a dead body, he thought to himself that life isn't permanent.
Right.
So just by seeing one thing, if he can have the capacity to think so much,
right,
then I'm sure that he had the capacity to, self-realize. What I'm trying to ask is, had not Buddha become another Krishna if he didn't leave? I feel that if he didn't escape the kingdom, if he didn't go into a moment of solitude, could he not become another Krishna? Could he not become relevant in this modern day and age where everyone relates to him, where everyone chants his name, where his life is seen as the most ideal life, although a life of suffering or lies or whatever, but such an but such an ideal life that people would want to live it.
Right.
So there are many people who would want to live like Krishna.
Right.
Me including myself. I see him as a role model. But the thing is that, of course, as I said before, that dharma doesn't stop for anyone. You have to keep your flute aside and you have to pick up the Sudarshan Chakra at one point.
Okay.
I think what Buddha did is kept the flute aside and he kept the Sudarshan Chakra aside as well.
Right.
That is
Okay.
what,
Okay.
in my perspective, what the concept of Buddha and Krishna is.
Okay.
But in the end, of course, I would like to say this, that dharma finds its way to establish itself everywhere, may it hurt anyone in the process or not.
Right.
So although when Krishna was leaving Vrindavan, it was so disheartening, it was so heartbreaking for everyone. Now imagine a child who you have been seeing since the age of 1, since the age of 0.
And obviously he must be the most favorite.
Yeah, he was the favorite,
child.
Doing so much stuff, talking to everyone, doing so much
all the leaders,
mischief. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, he's going away alone for a reason that nobody knows.
Yeah.
So, of course, dharma finds a way of establishing itself everywhere, may it hurt anyone or not.
Right. So now coming back, I think by what we have discussed till now, everybody must be feeling that we are in the path of favoring Krishna over Buddha.
I am.
Yes. Yeah. So my point is that today Buddhism is a religion.
Yeah. Which was never meant to be.
Which was never meant to be.
Course, never.
Buddha didn't want a religion to be formed, I guess. Right. I don't know.
So,
but it has become a religion.
Buddha rejected the authority over the Vedas. That is why Buddhism is a Nastika philosophy.
Nastika philosophy.
Right.
Okay. But Krishnaism has not become a religion.
No.
Krishna is become only a way of life.
Right.
Just like Hinduism.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So, what went wrong?
What went wrong is, as we spoke in the previous podcast, that when someone of great power comes in front of you, you automatically surrender to him.
Okay.
So what Buddha tried to do is, Buddha tried to enlighten everyone by showing them the true path. But instead, nowadays, we have Neo-Buddhism, like Neo-Buddhists, people worshipping Buddha instead of finding their Buddha inside.
Okay.
That is the worst kind of practice that any yogi, any Buddha, any Siddha could do.
Okay. So now that we are coming to the end of this podcast, there are two things which I wanted to say. I think the last words which Buddha had told one of his devotee was the same thing, that be a light unto your own self.
Right.
So basically he meant, I'm going now. Don't get attached to my figure, to my body, but be a light unto your own self. So he had no intention of creating a religion.
Right.
Because if he wanted to create a religion, he would have obviously done all the religious things which are prevalent now.
Yeah.
Neither did Krishna.
Right, you're right.
Now, second thing which I got reminded was that there is a book of yours called Epiphany, I guess.
Yes.
So there is an episode on, not an episode, but there is a chapter, essay on Buddha. Would you mind reading a little bit of that for us?
The chapter is called The King Who Left versus the God Who Stayed.
Right.
So in that I've drawn stark contradictions between Buddha and Krishna as well.
Right.
And that is why I felt like, if we speak on this topic, it would be nice. It would be amazing. So yeah, I could read like a small paragraph or something.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll just read by what we spoke right now is like an insane explanation of what the chapter is. I'll read the first paragraph and the last paragraph. Okay.
Sure.
The King Who Left versus the God Who Stayed. This is my book, Epiphany. Buddha's renunciation has long been hailed as the ultimate rejection of worldly life. He abandoned his kingdom, his wife, his child, and all material comforts, seeking the truth beyond the illusions of existence. But was this act truly moral, or was it rather the consequence of frustration, a retreat from responsibility disguised as enlightenment? The world fetters men with gold and love, with power and duty, and to cast these aside is to declare one indifference to the greatest temptations of existence. Buddha sought the absolute. He was not content to rule over men. He wished to liberate them from the very suffering that defined their lives. In his eyes, the battle was not the kingdom, but in the self. If all suffering arises from the attachment, then to dissolve attachment is to dissolve suffering itself.
Wow.
And then, of course, I go on a rant speaking of how we can contradict each other.
Right.
And then in the last, I say, perhaps there was a time when renunciation was a highest ideal, But in this modern world, where suffering is not simply a personal illusion, but a systematic reality, the higher calling is not to escape, but to shape.
Okay.
To leave the world is a luxury, but to remain, to fight, to create, that is the burden of the new age. This is where Buddha ends and Krishna begins.
Wow.
Buddha sought escape and Krishna sought transformation. The higher morality is not in withdrawal, but it is in mastery. To leave the world is to concede defeat, to remain it, to shape it, and to uplift Dharma. That is the true conquest of the self. If Buddha had not left his palace, if he had embraced the duty of his king, might not have he become another Krishna.
Super.
That is Buddha versus Krishna for you guys.
So I think that's a great question to ponder upon, and great way to end this podcast as well.
Yes.
Thank you, Shlok.
Yes, alright guys, that's a wrap. Hope you liked the video. See you all in another episode. Bye guys.